Monu be kwale saf connect ngadunje to mbela dafa Monu be kwale saf connect ngadunje to mbela dafa ñunu be garandiro la ñunu be ngadunje to mbela dafa Lamin jam anala dimba ngadunje mbela dafa Molu be kwale self connect ngadunje mbela dafa national international ngadunje mbela dafa Dolu be gole self connect alinga dungeto bela nafa nyulu be karandiro la nyulu be makwero ngadungeo bela nafa Molu be gole self connect alinga dungeyo bela nafa
Good evening, viewers. We are live and direct at Kairaba Beach Hotel in the Republic of the Gambia, reflecting on Trinity, celebrating freedom of speech in the Gambia, whilst with the new government and the new people of the Gambia, we have the Honorable Minister Maifati coming to give us a speech here on Kairaba Beach Hotel, Jamma Hall. Let's listen to the Honorable Minister Ahmed Maifati on freedom of speech and freedom of liberty in the Gambia.
To express my gratitude to the organizers of the event. I'd like to thank Dr. Jani and all the panelists, Her Excellency, the Ambassador to Malaysia and neighboring countries. Honorable Ramsey Diab is here, and my very good friend. Glad to see you, Frederick. Bienvenue. And certainly, I want to thank you for the great effort you did for Gambia in Senegal and elsewhere. I'm a living witness to that. You have been an inspiration. Thank you. And Honorable Toma, Njai, Ajarama, it's good to see you again. And of course, Binta, Ila Kumunya Tabake. My very good friend, Njai, one of the most brilliant minds that this country has ever had. Proud of you. Thank you. And the victim supports and all of you. I'm glad that Ajiyam is here, my mom. And to all of you. But on a very brief note, I'd like to express my strong solidarity and support to the victims who are present here and their families, and those victims who are not here. I'd like to express my condolence once more to all those who could not be present with us because of the predatory governance that this country had undergone for the past 22 years, very brutal 22 years. The change that we brought into effect, this change is brought by you, the Gambians. We were only active passengers in the vehicle, but you were actually in the driving seat. And I'd like to congratulate you on that, but it is a very strong commitment that the change agenda that is here is not only because we want to change Yajami with new political leaders. On December 1, when you went to the polls, you actually voted to change a system. And that is the significance of December 1. So unless and until we achieve real, significant system change, the battle is not yet over. And we have not yet achieved system change. But that is the journey. We are moving towards a journey where the system has to change. The system has to change because that is the dictate of the Gambians. Things cannot be business as usual. Of course, a lot of things look like that is what it is, but a lot of efforts are being made in order to bring that into fruition. For my ministry, on behalf of the government, we are very concerned, very focused on ensuring that there are consequences for impunity, and that impunity will no longer be accepted. For that, we have an open system. And because human rights violation was so endemic, it was fashionable in the old days, and law enforcement have been grossly connected to it. Some of the earliest things that we did as a ministry is to create a human rights unit, which is attached to the office of the minister. And beyond that, we have extricated even the human rights unit that is at the police department, incorporated also together jointly the human rights unit at the ministry. And the reason we did that is so that we can have both administrative and political oversight over human rights violations and abuses, both in law enforcement and also in the workplace. This is a step, an indication to show that business as usual is not possible. There will be consequences. Not only that, when we came, some of the earliest things we did, right in January and February, was to create a panel for enforced disappearances, people who have disappeared, to create a panel to give room and voice to families and victims to come and present a case and to support the investigative process with evidence and with leads so that we can do something about that. It was a result of that panel that we were able to discover the gruesome murder of some of the people and some who had disappeared. And it was because of that panel that we had constituted at the level of law enforcement that we were able to discover some of the graves of some of the people. The job is not yet done. We will continue to do that. We have excavated, exhumed some bodies. Some of them are going through forensic examination. And it looked a little slow because we do not have the real forensic capability to determine whether the bones belong to a cow or a human being. Because for the courts, we have to prove that these bones really belong to a particular human being and to identify that particular person. It is a question that we need to do. And so it's not just something we can go overnight and say, this is the grave. You went there and we dug this grave and we found bones or remains, and so therefore it's enough, we can just prove it. A court of law is different from a court of public opinion. For a court of law, you require proof, affirmative proof. You have to go before the court to prove that the grave that was exhumed and the remains you found belongs to person A. If you are not able to do that, you cannot win a case, because it is proof beyond reasonable doubt. And that standard that we have brought in, proof beyond reasonable doubt, is here to stay. And I want you to understand that we cannot do business as before, like you are Jammeh. We can't railroad people through the courts without providing evidence. We are talking about the rule of law. We are talking about a judiciary and establishing confidence in the judiciary. To do that, we need real evidence. And that is why the process appears slow, because we are trying to do things the proper way. There was no system. We are trying to build a system. And I keep telling you, when you are building a house, you pass through the foundation. It's ugly. The foundation is full of stones, cement, and boulder, and rocks, and all these things. That's what you see the foundation, and it looks like muddy. It's messy. You only look at the beauty of a building when you pass the foundation and you look at the structure of the building. It's just an empty frame. It looks like when you pass by, oh, this looks like it's going to be a very nice house. So we haven't reached that point. We are at the foundation stage where things look messy, but we are building, we are making. And that's where we are. So for the families who are victims and the victims themselves, I want you to understand that we are deeply committed to getting down to the truth of this. And I do get letters from some of you. And when your letters do come, we are sitting under them, and I have replied to a lot of you as well. So for those of you who are victims, there is a process in place. We will not stop. The investigation continues. We have exhumed bodies. We stop exhuming because when you exhume these bodies and you expose them to light and to atmosphere, something begins to do chemically and scientifically. You interfere with its DNA accuracy and so many other things. You need a specific scientific storage mechanism also in order to maintain the integrity of these things. So enforced disappearance is very important. We are working on it. We've invited international partners, law enforcement partners, recognized the FBI and other countries. And that is one of the reasons why we have created We have just signed an agreement in order to create a forensic center in this country, which will also do other things at no cost to Gambia government, at zero cost. It's not from our budget. It's just through part of our international partnership. But then I want to tell you that for those who are still looking for justice, there will be one. We're talking about transitional justice, but there will be those egregious offenses that will go through the courts. At the Ministry of Interior, we believe transitional justice is important, but we believe judicial justice, justice that go through the court system, where people are tried and they are put behind bars for good, is also key and something we cannot forget about. So we will continue to support the Ministry of Justice in its transitional justice program, but at the ministry, we will continue to investigate, notwithstanding the transitional justice program. We will continue with our investigations. Together with our international partners, we will continue to look for mass graves. We will continue with our forensic examination. And we need your support. Please come and give us evidence. Give us leads. Cooperate with us. But I understand that's something we need to do better. We need to communicate so that you know what we are doing about your loved ones, about your human rights abuses. We are not doing very well at that. We will do our best to improve the communication system so that you know what we are doing and we can engage you and you know where we are. Because if we do not, you may build the impression that we are doing nothing. That is somewhere we need to improve. But we are working so hard that we tend to forget that we need to communicate. It is important to do that. I want you to know we are committed. You will not be left alone. I also have my personal assurance that we will do something. And for all those who are victims, please come forward. Do not hide and do not stay behind. If you do not come forward, we will not know. But if you do come forward and nothing is happening, write a letter to me, send it to the Permanent Secretary. I promise you, I will do something and I will get back to you always. It may be late, but I'll get back to you. So if you are not happy of what is happening, write a letter to the minister, send it to the Permanent Secretary. Our office is just next to 1+1. We are there. We are there for you. We are accountable to you. We are nothing if you don't put us to account. And we are ready to face you to answer your questions because we are confident that we have nothing to hide. We're here to serve the Gambian people and we will not run away from you. I express solidarity with you today. I'm with you today. The ministry is with you today. But more so, the mandate from His Excellency President Barrow is to ensure that we deliver the services that you require. And we will continue to do that. For the press, it's open. You can go and question the Inspector General of Police. The Enforcers panel is there. The Human Rights Investigation panel is there. But my doors are open as well. If you are not happy with what you are getting under my land departments, my door is open. You may not be able to see me the same day, but if you come, you will fill an appointment form. At some point, I'll be able to see you. We don't run away from anybody because we'll have to face you again when we need you. At the end of the day, you pay my salary and you pay everybody's salary in government. And I'm conscious of that. Thank you very much. And I would like once again want to thank all of you for what you are doing here, particularly the Victim Center. And for all the victims, we are all victims. Every Gambian is a victim. The Gambia is like one big forensic crime scene. We will continue to do our investigations. It may take time, but we'll get down to the bottom of this because this is our commitment and we will not fail you. Thank you very much.
Well said, Honorable Minister Ahmed Maifati on Freedom Thranity speech in Kairaba Beach Hotel. Thank you very much. On this note, we're going to close this chapter and go inside to see the panel again. Thank you.